I'm going to continue to say this until it gets through to more and more people because I get some questions sometimes, and people have some answers, and if they really just sat and thought about it, they would be able to answer them themselves, right? So when I talk about your energy, you will never receive high output from low input, right? It's the same way with any machine. The bigger the machine, the more energy, the more electricity you need to push it. When you look at the human body and us as human beings, we are electromagnetic human beings. Our bodies will work electrically and magnetically. When you read in the Bible, the land of milk and honey, this is the pituitary and the pineal gland, right? And the pineal gland actually secretes gold or honey-like substance. The pituitary actually secretes a white or like a milk, which is actually like a lactate, like a milk. So it surrounds the glial cells in your brain. This is what they're talking about. When you start digging into these things and you start to understand how they work, your body is electric and magnetic. And I've said it before. So when you take all the energy in your body and you really think on something that you wish to have, and you really put a lot of energy toward it, a lot of thought to it, it doesn't even have to be so much effort. It's just the energy, the feeling, the thoughts, the emotions. When you put it towards that, and you're going to have to put some work into it, absolutely. But you don't have to run yourself into the ground to the point where it's, you're burning yourself out. Your energy is far more powerful than most people believe. And when the thinking and the emotion and the action is aligned, the mind, body, spirit, the Trinity, like I speak on, things come to you far easier because it is an abundance of energy. It's just not one thing, and you're pressing with one thing so hard and with one of the three or one of the Trinity. So you're thinking about, nothing's happening. That's because you haven't got the emotion and you haven't taken the proper action to bring that manifestation into form, right? This is why the understanding of the Trinity is so imperative. It's paramount. But when you align those three things, you can bring things to you far easier because the magnetic aspect of the human being, when you think about it like a piece of steel, when all the molecules in a piece of steel are directed in one direction, then it becomes magnetic. That's how it attracts steel. That's how it attracts metal. You work the same way. The magnetic properties in the individual and the human being work the same way. But you have to have all the energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, all your energy directed in one way. And when it's directed on one thing, one outcome, in one way, it comes to you far easier. You then are becoming a magnet for that which you wish to bring into your world, right? This is why the fundamental understanding of your energy and electromagnetism is so fucking critical. And the questions I get from some people, they overthink it. I think they overthink it. It's just understanding what you want, being able to visualize that, getting yourself in a heightened state of emotion, and taking the action to get that which you wish to have. So that's why I use a workout. A lot of people use like plant-based drugs. A lot of people use, different techniques. I choose a workout because after a workout and after training and after getting your blood flowing, first of all, it's going to take you from a pessimistic way of looking at the world to an optimistic way of looking at the world. Second, when you have that much energy and that much good feeling and emotion and the endorphins and all that stuff, the God-given pharmacy of feel-good chemicals that you have in your body, it's far easier for you to think and visualize in a certain direction. And when all that energy is pushing and flowing through you, and you're putting it and you're sitting there visualizing, thinking about it, you are putting and charging that energy into that which you're looking to bring to you. That's why I use a workout. People talk about like magic, and people talk about like sigils, and people talk about things like that and to use for like manifestation. Training and blood flow and your energy is the same way as a heightened state in meditation or a heightened state, whatever they talk about as far as techniques to manifest and bring things to you. You know, a really hard workout, a really, pushing your limits and pushing yourself, and then coming out and you feel so good and so grateful, and then you can just calm your mind and slow it down, focus on what you wish to attract, charge that energy towards that, and then you'll see it start to come to you. It works the same way as any of this other stuff that people use. And at the same time, taking care of your body, you know, doing what's right for yourself. When you know you should be moving a lot more. Getting rid of all the aches and pains, getting rid of all the pessimistic outlook and worldview. It's just like, they talk about oxidative stress in the body. Oxidative stress, if you think about it, it's like steel. It's oxidation and rust, right? When it's oxidative stress, your body is literally rusting and it's literally like locking up. So the best way to keep it from rusting and slowing down is to keep it moving and to keep it flowing and to keep it oiled and to keep everything moving. All the moving parts got to stay moving. Works the same way. But you have the energy. It's within you. And if you really want to go in a deep dive, read George Carey's God Man, the Word Made Flesh. That starts to bring you into a whole new realm of, what your body's really doing and how the Bible actually translated to our bodies and the way our bodies work. And it's a mind-blowing fucking piece of work. It was written in 1920, and it'll change the way that you see a lot of these stories and a lot of these parables and allegories that come from the Bible and come from a lot of the ancient scriptures. But it basically all comes down to energy, and your energy flows where your attention goes. So learning how to take that energy, harness it, and use it for our benefit, just like we do in nature, just like we do with solar energy, just like we do with the rivers and hydroelectric energy, wind, all that. We work the same way as nature. I will continue to say this until you see it, because once you see that and once you understand the secrets of nature and human nature and how they coexist and they work the exact same way, then you have the keys to start changing your life and bringing things to you that you want. We put a lot of emphasis on techniques that are like external. It all comes from in here, bro. All of it. It is all from in here. And you hold the energy and the power. I didn't understand this, and a lot of time why I dimmed all this, the energy and the power I had and the power to manifest and bring things to me and to do what I wanted and live the life I wanted. It was dimmed with the drugs and the alcohol and the manipulation and, putting my attention elsewhere instead of where I needed it to go. But once you start learning these keys and once you start aligning with them daily, you're going to start to see it more and more and more, bro. And it's very simple, but it is not always easy. This is why I got to teach the stuff I teach. This is why I started Higher Awareness Academy, to literally get people to see and change their lives with their energy. It's all comes down to energy. Everything is energy. Once you see it, you'll never unsee it. I say it all the time, bro. If you have any questions and you want to know more, DM me. You can go to higherawarenessacademy.com and, maybe we can get you working on something and get a blueprint outline for you so you can learn how to charge this energy to work for you instead of against you. That's the problem, man. Like 95% of the world doesn't understand how this stuff works, so they use this energy in a detrimental way in their life, and it affects everybody around them. So once you learn to flip that, then you'll have the keys. Love y'all.